Hi, Tracy Hess from Zone2BToned, another week segment. This week's segment, we are here with, now let me get this right because he comes up with these great slogans. I'm going to call him Doc. And one of his slogans is train hard or go home wheeler. You gotta love it. Doc, how you doing?
That is the truth. Train hard, go home. You want some? Get some.
I love it. And if you guys know him from his Facebooks, we love liking a lot of stuff that Jerry puts up because he's telling it like it is. It is true. You ain't got what it takes. Get out and go home. Stop taking up space in the gym. But anyway, the interview today is about Jerry. I met Jerry last year at the Philadelphia Championships Tracy Greenwood show.
That's correct.
And that was my first time meeting him. Then we've been judging ever since. How long have you been judging, Jerry?
I would say off and on for about 5 years now. Off and on for 5 years, but the last 3 have been straight good 3 years. But I would say 5 years because some days I can't make a show because I have other, things to do. But I would say about 5 years. Oh, I'm very busy.
Well, I'm so excited that he came here to meet me because he came very far to do the interview, and I was so excited. And your Facebook people, I know you guys you have a lot of fans, by the way. They were very excited that you were coming to the interview today. Yes. But Jerry, you have you know the name Wheeler, so you are related to
IFBB Pro and Legend Flex Wheeler.
Flex.
Big bad Flex.
How is that, like, with the relationship between you two? Him, I don't know, does he still compete? Because I don't really follow too much of the...
No, Flex doesn't compete anymore. And last year, Ronnie Coleman at the Masters Olympia in South Beach, Florida, Ronnie Coleman, in front of a packed house, made an offer to Flex. He said, I'll give you $100,000 if you would come back on the stage and do one more show. And I'm in the front row in the audience, and I just said to myself, I already know what the answer to that one is, and that's a no.
The question, I would be saying, do you have $100,000?
That is true.
I'm sorry, that was bad. That's horrible. That's a lot of money to pay somebody to come back. But you know what? When you're done, you're done. I don't know what the outlet of his career, because I didn't really follow a lot. I know he did win some pretty big shows at the end.
Correct.
And stuff. But does he still train? Does he still
work
out?
He trains. He works out. I would say more like a maintenance.
Just to stay in
right.
shape.
He's doing maintenance. He works out. He stays in shape. He's still big. He's still got good guns. He's a fantastic body, and he loves the sport. But if you ask him, do he miss it? And he would tell you no.
No. He put a lot of years. How many years have you been competing?
Oh, he's put quite a few. I know I've been competing for 37 years, and my first show, I was at the age of 16. I was 16 years old, and I entered a bench pressing contest for your body weight. And from that point up, I just fell in love with it. And then I started to study bodybuilding, health, fitness, and became almost to the point where a guru. And so many of my friends would say, you are the Charles Glass on the East Coast, and Charles Glass is the man on the West Coast. So I like that because I put a lot of time and study into not just bodybuilding, but fitness, sports, and sports medicine.
That. You're making such a great name for yourself, like Mike Torsia of California, which is huge, and I love what you are doing. Now, do you and Flex, does he train you? Have you ever trained with him?
People ask me, they say, well, who trains who? And I say, well, you know what? We all have our likes and dislikes, and believe it or not, I'm about 5 years older than Flex. Flex, people think Flex is older than I am, but actually I'm older than Flex.
So you're the
and
old
so
dog.
I'm the old dog. So it's like when I was doing my first show at the age of 16, Flex is 11 years old.
Wow, so you actually started this. So he should be following you, Doc, right? Well, I do remember you, Doc, and it's funny, I do remember you at the, I believe you competed at the Bill Grant show.
I competed at the Bill Grant, and I really didn't want to do that show. I woke up that morning and I says, no, I really don't feel the way I like to feel when I step on stage. And I said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go through the motions and get home. And I wasn't feeling that good at all. And it was funny because when the show was over, I walked about 4 or 5 blocks to my car, and collapsed on a lady's lawn.
Ooh.
And my son was with me, and the lady came running out of her house, and she says, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I says, "I'm okay. Just give me a few minutes." And my son was giving me coconut water, for the electrolytes.
Right.
And when I got home, the last thing I remember was laying on the floor, just like a little baby, and I closed my eyes, and when I woke up, it was 4 hours later.
Doc, you needed a doctor. Okay.
The doctor needs a doctor.
It's really a pleasure to have you on the scene, judging with you on the panel. And there's a lot of things like we talk about things as judges. One thing I want to discuss with you actually as a judge is the national qualifier shows, where the competitors compete, they win the show, and then the competitors run off to the nationals right away. What's your outlook on this, Jerry? Should they wait and do another show a little smaller than a big national show? What's your?
Well, if they're going to train to do a national show, they should put their heart and soul into that one show and try to place. And once they place, then they should take some time to reflect on where they came from and where they're going, what they really want to do. And then if you decide that you're going to go and pursue and continue your career as a pro or junior pro, as we call them, rookie pro.
Right.
Just like you have a novice in the NPC, and then you get your pro card, you are now a novice in the IFBB.
Absolutely.
So you're starting from the bottom all over again.
Yeah.
So a lot of competitors are going to nationals with the wrong attitude, and some are going with the right and proper attitude. But there's time should be reflected, and they should put a good 8 months into training before they compete again.
And another thing too, Jerry, we know you, and I know you see the same thing. When the shows are over, I know your competitors are hungry and just want to get on out of there and go get some food, but make a point to come down and talk to the judges, because you need to know what body parts are missing. Yes, I did win this local show, but what would I need to go on to that next level before you get out there and it's a slap to spend all the money and realize I didn't talk to judges to find out what body parts did I need to move on to that next level. Then they get to the nationals and those judges are telling you, you're just not ready. So, I mean.
What happens is you've got a lot of trainers and coaches, and I've overheard this many times, where some competitors will come over to the judge and ask us different questions on, what did they lack and what was good. But then they have coaches who are not humble.
That's true.
And then the coach would say, well, they don't know what they're doing. I've heard from competitors, well, the judges don't know what they're doing. We train very hard to do what we do. And so when you have a coach that will tell them, let's go, no need to talk to the judge. So my thing is, that competitor is paying that coach or that trainer. So it behooves that coach or that trainer to know exactly what it takes to put that person on stage. Otherwise, get out of the business and go work with someone else who just wants maintenance. But if you're going to train someone to be on that stage, that trainer, that coach should know exactly what they're doing. They should spend time and sit down with the judge.
I agree. To find out what do they need to work on to prepare themselves for that next level. Another thing, we'll skip over a little bit, another thing that is huge, we know there's great bodies that come to the show. There's a lot of new bodies come to the show. They're not sure of what's going on. They know they got to get a suit. They know they got to do this and do that. Presentation has been pretty seriously a problem with new athletes. Stage presence, or even if you're a veteran, still not knowing how to pose, calling mandatories. They go the wrong way.
That's correct. Well, we have our mandatory poses, and then we have our individual poses, and then you have your posing to music. But when you see a person up on the stage and they're going through their mandatory posing, and you see that their feet are not angled right, their elbows are not here, and they're not twisting and they're turning. So I'm thinking to myself, why is this person going alone to do a show where you definitely need 1 or 2 people? But anyone who thinks that they can go do this business of bodybuilding and you don't need help, then that's going to be the downside. And then if a coach doesn't show them the proper way of posing, I will give you a little secret. When I was in junior high school, I studied music and dance, dance arts, ballet, jazz, modern, and tap. So I utilized my ballet skills in my posing skills.
Right.
And when I show some of my friends my way of posing and how I can almost turn my body on my tippy toes, almost like a ballerina going into the next pose,
Right.
they're like, how did you do that? I'm gonna fall on my feet moving like that. And so when you think back to Pumping Iron, who did the same thing? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Absolutely. I do think that, you know, okay, not everybody's going to be able to be a smooth dancer, but if you learn how to just pose, you will eventually add your own flair, you know, to what you learn. But it's a shame, it's really huge because there's some beautiful bodies, nice bodies coming out to the
Fantastic
shows.
people are presenting themselves,
Yeah.
and all they need is just some little tweaks here and
Little
there.
tweaks here and there, and there's a lot of professionals, tons of, you know, keep your eyes out for a lot of different clinics out there, coaches, if you don't know much about that, you know, look for the professionals to help you in that area so that all your hard work in the gym will pay off on stage. Because one thing you don't want is a dissatisfied client that you put them on stage and they lost a show because they didn't know how to pose. So these things are really, really huge. I'm excited about this year. This is a new year. We got a lot of things going on, new categories.
It's gonna be busy.
Coming in the show, we will talk about the upcoming Lehigh Valley show, which is May
25th.
Saturday, which is a few weeks away. Very excited about that show. What do you think? What's going to happen? I think it's going to be pretty big.
That will be one of our biggest shows to date, that show. But I'm not sure if you know that we added 2 categories to that show.
I did hear that.
And that's going to be new. It's going to be new for the first time bikini and the first time figure. So we're going to have now a novice class of first time bikini competitors and first time figure competitors. So, no, the call was made to the NPC and it was approved. And so now you don't have to have many years under your belt and you can just say, you know, this is my first time and I'm going to go to that Valley show. But when we look at bodybuilding, figure, and bikini, more people now are entering bikini and men's physique. It has grown drastically.
It's grown. I think the less work you want to do, you can, hey, you don't have to train as hard. I mean, you got to look good, of course, but it doesn't require so much work and a lot more money because in the other categories, they require a lot more money, more food, training, trainers, your outfits, that stuff starts to add up. So this is
Yes.
huge where you can walk,
Yes.
I call it walk off the beach.
Yes.
Put your stuff on and come up on stage. So it's like a fun category. But I know a lot of competitors do get mad, especially your ones that do train hard, that they claim it's not fair. But you know what?
That
The
is
show's
true.
for everybody.
That
Whatever
is true.
you're into, you know, whatever you look, it's for everybody. Well, Jerry, what's in the future for you? What's coming up for Jerry Willer?
You know, I knew this was going to be coming, so I thought about it last night. And being that I have been in bodybuilding, health, fitness, sports, and sports medicine, 37 years under my belt. And where do I go? So I decided to no longer compete. I wanted to train for a show for
He's not
next
feeling
year.
good. Don't believe this. He's not feeling good
I
tonight.
wanted to train for a show next year, but I have my own type of medical issues, which, you know, my lower back, and I have to get another epidural injection, and because my back pain is just horrendous. And I was going to train, but I'm going to try to go higher. I always like to push the envelope. So what's in store? Well, tomorrow I'm going to the bank.
Oh, you're going to get me some money?
I'm going to the bank tomorrow, and I'm looking at opening up my own gym.
Oh my God.
So
Oh, my goodness.
I have reached all my goals, and I said, okay, I'm training people,
Okay.
and I'm sponsoring people, and I'm traveling to all these different gyms. And I said, you know what?
I like that.
I need my own gym. So
Okay, so you know
The
the
secret.
name is going to be off the chart. So I'm going to ask him, did you come up with a name yet?
well, I'm going to give you a secret that you probably don't know about. And if you can even go online and you can look this up. Did you know that there is a chain of gyms out there right now on the West Coast, Flex Wheeler Fitness? And these are gyms. And if you wanted to buy in and start
franchise.
The franchise, you can actually go online and you can get all the details,
Okay.
and you can open up a Flex Wheeler fitness gym.
That's very interesting
And
to
so
know.
that is where I'm looking at, so right now
But
I'm thinking of where.
I see you standing out a little bit more because you got great slogans, train hard, go home. I see you coming out with something really more spectacular than just that name. We're gonna work on that. But anyway, we gotta kind of cool this thing down here. But Jerry, I really appreciate you coming out today. Keep up the Facebook. Now, you gotta tell me about your Facebook page so they can go on and like.
Easy to find me. It's Jerry Wheeler, NPC Judge, and just hit me up and just request a friend. And if you don't have your picture on there, I'm not going to approve you. So make sure you have your picture and
Show your stuff.
show your stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up, hit me a line. I'm easy to talk to, friendly guy, and I love the sport. And if you don't come correct, don't come at all.
I love it.
Train hard and keep going.
Train hard, Doc. Train hard or go home, Wheeler. Thank you, Doc, for this interview. We appreciate
you.
that. Love you. Love you, love you, love you. Ooh, he's strong.
Not as strong as I want to be.
Thanks, Jerry. We'll see you at the show, guys. We'll be back with you next week. Tracy Hess, Zone2BToned. Doc Wheeler. We'll see you next week.